You heard it here first. Coin is going to zero.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. We got Gary in the house. How's it going, brother? Welcome back, my friend. Nice to see you. It seems like we've been following each other all day long, haven't we? Love to see you, my friend. Thank you so much for standing by. Thank you so much for coming over. Really appreciate you. Let's get it started because on Hackers, we gave an entry here. Depending on what broker you did jumped in, you might have got in, right? So let me tell you, Bluffing did went in. So let's go take a look at that, and there's just a slightly different difference there. Nonetheless, we could be taking a look at a possible re-entry right here on the show. So let's effing go. Let's get it. All right, so far this is where we got. I know there's a lot of spaghetti here, so bear with me here. Thank you, Gary. Really appreciate you, my friend. All right, so there we go. We have a double bottom here, breakout. There we go, out of a triangular pattern, coming back down. All right, so not exactly as expected, but pretty much hitting some targets at the bottom, having a reversals. We have some power bar here, less of a color, perfect, going for that reversal, bullish divergence, and finally trying to push through that zero lining here. Seems like we might have a goose head. All right, so let me just get a little bit of this spaghetti out of the way so we can start seeing things a little bit more clean and clear. There it goes. And at this moment we have just a slight breakout retest. All right, so this is where we're talking about. Barely came in. Look at that on the way down. So I'm telling you, the difference in between BTC, Binance, Bitstamp, and Bluffing, it's slightly different. So if you left this open and it jumped in, nice, congratulations. All right, nonetheless, this was a half of an entry, 10x leverage. So not too much money to make out of here, but keep it open, move your stop closer to entry if you are on this trade, something like that, because we might have on the 15 minutes another push to the upside. All right, where is that coming from? Well, from the oscillator, we have a bullish divergence. We have not that bad of a volume matrix. And of course, our consolidation score is rising up, all right? So in 4, not quite there, consolidating, getting to a consolidation, but still in a pretty good spot to start making that at least up to the top of the range, right? Then we'll see if we can make it through above dynamic reactor. Above dynamic reactor, we're not there yet, right? And very important, if you're looking for this re-entry, I think you might still have a chance for this one. Wait for the price action to come back down, and your stop loss, well, you got it on the screen. Let me actually put it back down. If you're gonna re-enter, push it just a little bit lower. That's gonna be at 72,115. Pretty much look at for this area. All right, remember, if you follow the numbers that you see right now on the screen, you might get it wrong. Right, that is to be depending on what broker you are trading. It's not the same Binance, Bitstamp, USDT, USDC, and USD. All right, so fair warning there. All right, look for the areas right here. Target price, it's gonna be previous highs, my friend, somewhere around 73,868. Remember, set your stop loss. All right, because we might also be coming back down really strongly if we can't make it through that zero line. In that case, what's gonna be the counter action in here? All right, so we have a trend line here. All right, not only we have a trend line, let's bring up our indicators. That's why we have them. All right, so let me just get rid of this and that. There we go. And also let me hide all of my spaghetti. Let's bring up all of my indicators just at once. It's gonna get a little bit cloudy. So bear here with me. All right. Let's wait just a little bit more. There it is. So basically, we are on or we're getting closer to a smart money entry. We have a lot of rejection in here, and we need to put a higher low. If we start breaking this area right here, so there's no doubt that we're going down. All right. So we're gonna go back inside this zone in here. Let me show you how exactly. So let me just move this out of the way. All right. And let's bring here is a path. So if these things start going way lower, remember, first of all, it's gonna take out our stop loss, right? And then we're gonna bounce up, and then we're gonna find some lower highs in here, and then most likely we are gonna go much lower, well, much quote unquote, right? We are on the 15 minutes. This is gonna be your re-entry for a short, same area of entry for the long at 72,595, only and only when we bounce back up. Those are kind of like a scalping scenarios, all right? That's why we are on the 15 minutes. Let me clear this up, and let's go to the 4 hours. 4 hours is looking a little bit worse, but at the same time, we have a lot of absorption, right? So we have 2 absorption candles, 1 absorption candle, 1 absorption candle at a discount area with an S1 swing entry. So now do you see here, what are we shorting on the 15 minutes if we lose that support and then we're longing it? All right, this is going to be our next entry, all right, to hit this resistance, your short, and then your target. All right, let's go back in here. Let's go back inside onto the 15 minutes, because there is one change in here. If we're able to make it or to bounce out of this zone, look at where the resistance is at the bottom of that range. All right, so what's happening in here? So what are we having to kind of like targets? Let me just get rid of everything. First of all, we have kind of like a double bottom, kind of like a sweep of the lows in here. All right, look at that. We are trying to make a push through with a goose head. Goose head is a little retracement. We already have the little retracement, our entry, further move to the upside, and then bigger retracement. Almost exactly what we are seeing on the larger time frame. All right, we have 2 top in the house. We have Alexander G. How is it going, Alexandra? Welcome. Great to have you. Always a pleasure to have you guys. Thank you so much for stopping by. Really appreciate you. All right, so the point is we are tightening down on the triangular pattern, right? Or at least on the broadening wedge. I mean on the on the wedge. All right, so the point is that if we are able to hit this, whatever we hit first, because this thing tends to break to the upside, so the main target is up here, right? So we're looking for the area to entry. So what is our entry? First, somewhere around here, 15 minutes. All right, and then bounce back up, and then we're going to be looking for dynamic reactor. If we're not able to get it, great. We're looking for the next area of entry, which is the bottom of that range. Now, is it a little bit clean, or is it better now? Let me know. We have a huge trend line here to be respected, right? We have a double bottom. We're trying to push. So just in case we're pushing over, that's why we're entering with half of a position, remember, for a further move to the upside to the dynamic reactor. If not, that's fine. You could go ahead and short it all the way down and then long that support on the 4 hours. Once again, let's bring up the 4 hours chart and push this lower as it was supposed to be. This one right here, right? But this is the next thing on the 4 hours. I will really want to wait for the 4 hours. We might have it throughout these couple of hours. Look at that. We have bright spot. We're just waiting for the opaque color. All right, so we get the opaque color. That's where the bottom might be, or most of the times is, and then we're executing that long. All right, if we long BTC sold to, right? Yes, Absolutely. Let's go take a look at Solana. And that's because Gary has been already with me the whole year. I mean, the whole day. And yeah, the answer is yes, because we have almost the same overall structure here for Solana, right? So the very first structure is, what if we start moving sideways right now? We're going to be looking for a slight entry and then a breakout. All right, perfect. If because we're having this movement to the upside, right? If we reject back, our next entry, it's almost in tandem with the next rejection re-entry with Bitcoin. So yes, the answer, and you really keep track of that. Really appreciate you, my friend. Yes, so if we long Bitcoin, we are also going to be longing Solana. Guys, remember, longing on the bear market, it's a trap. All right. So having said that, yes, we're bearish. We have Kelly in the house. Kelly, what is up? Welcome. We also have JR. What is up, my friend? Welcome. Great to have you guys. Really appreciate it. All right, so guys, remember, long in the bear market, it's a trap. It's a trap. So when you're longing, remember to always do it with extreme caution. What does that mean? Not full entries with longing. All right. Control your leverage. All right. So you can play with those two. I'll explain it a little bit, right? And of course, we'll have a stop loss, all right? We are in the middle of the bear market. Don't think that you're gonna average your way down with a 20, 50, 100x leverage. You're gonna get, in the best case scenario, stopped out, all right? In the worst case scenario, liquidated, and we don't want that. So be careful. Right now, I'm telling you that we are not messing along with longs at this moment, because look at how deceiving those longs are, right? We have a V-shaped recovery. Perfect. We're going through. We are breaking through that zero line, and whoa, it didn't win as planned, right? And as you can take a look at it here, well, shorts much more profitable than longs. Shorts much more profitable than longs. Same thing. Shorts much more profitable than longs. All right. At some point, we are going to get a worth taking long. That's why we are trying to take those longs with extreme caution. Nonetheless, the longs that we're taking is just to prepare us for the next upcoming short. We're just trying to squeeze just a little bit more out of the market. All right, remember, we're doing the opposite. We have Dachi in the house. How's it going? Olga Ivanova, welcome. Great to have you, my friend. Thank you guys for joining. Remember, bear market shorts are the deal. All right, so keep your eyes open for those shorts. Again, we are gonna be having some nice longs, like for example this ones. All right, but they tend to be very scarce. So yep, we are better off aiming for shorts on the rollover, on the rejection, and then looking just for a slight re-entry as we go down, just to squeeze just a little bit more out of the market. All right, so yeah, I mean, we're gonna be hunting also a short on Solana somewhere around here, around these areas. Stop loss needs to be right below this high, then we're gonna be aiming to this zone. All right, so that is it for Solana, and let's go over to our alert because we have a pump scenario. So remember, not trading this coin, we were talking about it. Nonetheless, out of our entry, right? Don't move that. I just did like a monkey. So out of that movement, look at that target, almost hit. All right, perfect. Moving your stop to entry. So despite I did not took it, well, that was a successful trade. And guys, remember, look at the picture here. Look at the picture, right? Or look at the analysis. It went right straight to where we wanted to, right? Or where we knew it wanted to go. So, short position. Right here at our rejection, right? Stop loss. Just so you know, I'm not trading pump fund at this moment, so I took neither. Nonetheless, what is it up now with pump fund, right? Let me just clear this up. Let's go back to 4 hours, and we are absolutely in a support zone. Important, are we ready to long? almost there. Look at the bright spot on your power bar. All right, I think we could have just a little bit more of a dip. Let's bring up predictive ranges. Let's see if we can nail that down. Sorry. And why in the world I can't see my predictive ranges? Gotta be kidding me. Come on, where are my predictive ranges? All right, let's turn them on. Oh, here they are. All right, here they are. Let me see if they're on daily. Predictive ranges chart. All right. Ooh, so that means we have a way too much volatility. Look at where the next blue line is at. All right, so not really usable at this moment, predictive ranges, but what is absolutely usable, it's our liquidity zone, our discount zone. Let's see what else we're getting here. Not much. Let's see, I did sell something. Here we go. So our swing low in here. What else we got in there? Our, of course, discount zone. And we have an absolute beauty of a trend line in here. All right. So we're going to be looking for some sweep of some lows in here. All right. Then breakout, maybe an equal high, higher low, and then a continuation. Remember, long in the bear market, it's a trap. All right. Still, we're going to be looking for something like that. When we have the breakout, bear in mind that we could even have a little bit of a lower low, all right? Not as low as before, but kind of like a lower low and then a higher high, same time, and we could be having a little bit of a range. I don't think that this is going to be the scenario, all right? I mean, not like this. I believe that we're going to get the range, right? Like that, and then make a bigger range for a further move to the downside. But so far so good. I'm looking for a possible re-entry on pump somewhere around here. Now I will be more eager to enter right here, so I'm gonna mark it with an alert, and this time I might be actually gonna try to long pump fund and then short pump fund. That is because it's been a while since we have been down there. We have a reversal in here. We have a bright spot on our power bar, and well, after a while that we are below, we tend to have a good rejection. Again, not a life-changing rejection, but a good way to position ourselves to make an extra buck to the upside, and then to position ourselves to the downside. All right, now the same thing I'm gonna be looking right here on pump fund. So keep your eyes open. Let me move this just slightly bit up and add a third alert right here at the top of this range in here. Perfect. So whatever the price moves, I really want to get a notification so I can then come back with my oscillator, right, and take a look at what's gonna be my next move. Because look at your consolidation score, 8, almost about to break. I see Dachi in the house. How is it going, my friend? Welcome. Great to have you. Short it to 0. Let's go. Thank you, my friend. Really appreciate you, JR. By the way, guys, we're going to follow up JR both on his Discord, his YouTube, and of course at the Piper Academy at Discord. He's been killing it with those trades. Let's go take a look at Netflix. Just so you know, remember, I was looking for an entry in Netflix. I already have executed that entry. I might execute another one if we get there, right? But so far, we have already a flip on the ribbon. The thing is not moving, all right? So it's worrying me a little bit. And what if is it worrying me? Because that means that most likely we are going to have another movement to the downside. I don't really care. It's not much that I'm scooping up in here. But remember, first entry has been made. Second entry is going to be right down here on this entry zone. Big red box, all right? Let's go over gold. Gold has been acting pretty good, by the way. So there it is. Remember that we were talking about our entry right here on where the wife, asking the wife to buy some gold. All right, so the wife support in there. Guess what? We are back on profits. This is not the time right now to start jumping in late on gold. Why? Because look at that high order block. It's in the way. All right. So if we get a rejection, that is going to be your next possible re-entry. All right. And if that rejection is just too violent, that we start moving downwards, which right now it's not. So like if we do something like that, all right. So if we start doing something like that, well, then your next re-entry, it's at the order block right down here. And then you short at the wife support in there. I'm going to be changing this to the next entry zone. Come on, let me grab it. Here it is. And that's it. All right, perfect. The gold already covered. Remember, we should have another entry right here. We called that yesterday. And right now it's playing out very nicely. Let's take a look at River. We've been keeping our eye on River. We have a breakout retest. We are on the continuation, but it's not time right now to short it. I really want to look at that beautiful retest with that big wick at the top. Absorption zone coming back down onto a high order block. Seems like we do have a goose gate and we're about to break the range to the downside. So why aren't we shorting this? Because of this huge bullish order block. All right, so let me clear this up for a minute and let me just get, yeah, perfect. Those ones are okay, perfect. So what is it right now? Let me throw everything that I got to it and let's get started with where the support and resistance is. All right, so we are stuck in an area of support and we have the VRVP, the money flow POC, I'm sorry, box acting as a resistance, but also we formed a high support with that order block. So what is the deal right now? I believe that we're going to go a little bit higher. All right, I believe that we're going to do something like this and then come back down for a bigger retest before we start moving downwards. So why aren't we longing then? Because we don't have the structure to do so. In fact, the structure is bearish. So I'm gonna go with the old trusty one, which is break of structure trading. All right, so I'm gonna go for this two up and down. So it's kind of like the orb, kind of. All right, it's not an orb. And then if I start breaking through, well, then I'm gonna short, especially if we do this. Remember to use a stop loss. And if we do that, well, I'm gonna be longing. Remember to use a stop loss. All right. The pump fund so far undecisive. It has bearish structure, but it's trying to push through with that goose head. We are about to break that little range, and the support and resistances, they are battling both above and below. So unsure so far, but if you got me to guess, we are going downwards. All right. So keep your eyes peeled. I'm gonna add an alert at the top in here. I'm gonna add an alert at the bottom. And once those alerts start hitting, I'm gonna go and check out my oscillator, because that means we have one more candle of information. We might have either an undecisive candle, which I really hope we don't. So it's something like this, or we could have a big body candle, which I believe, or I wish that we have it. And based on that big body candle, I'm gonna be longing or shorting. Once again, keep your eye on the oscillator. All right. Let's take a look at a couple other things. Let me hear you guys out. I see that we should be shorting something to zero. Let's get it. So let me know, guys, what are you guys looking at? What would you like me to take a look at? And in the meantime, let's bring up I want to go for the cryptobubbles.net, and also I want to visit what's the name of this thing? Is, come on, oh Jesus, coin market cap, the index. All right, perfect. So right now we are on extreme fear, right? Which means we should be looking for a possible long again. And guys, remember, this kind of like a fits with almost every single coin that we've been looking at. We are a little bit overextended. The fear is there. Everybody's gonna try to follow up on the late short. So we are trying to profit out of that itty bitty bounce. All right. Remember, here in the market, we buy. All right. But we're not leaning or expecting for it to go to the moon. It's just a reposition ourselves for a further move to the downside, right? Then the next thing that I want to go is the icon season index. We're not on the icon season, of course. We're very far away from that. But I want to take a look at the new order here. It has changed since the last time we've been looking at it, right? So we don't have any, we don't have at the top River anymore. We have NYX, we have Chilis, we have PAX-G, of course, Gold, all right? We have XAUT, Sky, I don't trade that thing. Just, oh, what a bad experience, and also good experience with Just. It was such a ride with that one. We have Zero, and we have BCH. The one that has been actually staying, and that actually surprised me, it's Monero. And TRX, it's kind of like on its way here. Let's go all the way down there, and I want to take a look at something here. Night, of course, Dash, IP, Aerodrome. All right, so let's take a look at Aerodrome here. Not, of course, not right here. And let's see if we might have some bottoming structure. So let's go to take a look at Aerodrome. And it needs to be crypto, of course. We got it right in here. Let's go for it. And so far, we don't have quite a, and let me read you, IPUSDT. All right, yeah, sure, absolutely. Ethereum, perfect. Let's go for Ethereum, XRP, and IP. Right. All right. So, absolutely. By the way, guys, really quick reminder, hit us up with that little like button. It really helps with the algorithm. And if you consider worth your time, share it with a friend. That'll be much appreciated. All right, so we don't have a bottoming pattern. Yes, we have a lower low, but so far I say the sweep of some lows. I don't know, hard to say. Yes, we are on some short zones. All right, so sweep the low zones, kind of in here. But I would actually kind of look something more like this. All right, so let me see. Let me just prolong those all the way to the right. And oh boy, that is taking forever. Yeah, kind of. So it's not a time for me to now look for a bottoming structure, but we're very close to it. All right. So what I want to see is flip of the ribbon. We already have the power bar. Let's bring up predictive ranges and the swing. There we go. All right. All right. So this is changing my mind a little bit. Why? Because look at that. We have our first swing support and S1, so secondary swing support 2, right on those boxes. All right. But here we do have a liquidity zone along this zone. So most likely we could see something like it. So, oh man, I don't want to call right now for a long on Aerodrome because we don't have the flip of the ribbon. But seems like we could be profiting out of one of those. So what I'm going to go is for a best possible entry right here at 35.44. All right. And this is not a confirmed entry. Remember this one, after that alert hits, I'm going to come and see if I'm going to be taking it or if I'm going to be taking this one lower. All right. Most likely, if we start moving downwards, I'm going to take this one lower. The one that I really want to go for, I think that we could profit out of this next short. All right. So let's go for that short. We already have that line. So I'm gonna just lock that and add an alert to that line in here. All right. And I'm gonna be trying to look for a possible rejection out of that zone. I know slightly above the trend line, but it also is going to be right there with the median. All right. So the median box. So let's leave it as is. I'm gonna be waiting for an alert to hit, and of course looking if I'm gonna be jumping on it or not. So let's go for Ethereum. Fuck Ethereum. Ethereum still on the way down. I mean, we have broke the trend line. All right, so we're keep looking for that sweep of some lows. We haven't hit any supports or resistance. It's kind of the way on the way, but very important, we are below the zero line, right? We don't have this, the flip of the ribbon. We are pretty bearish. and somewhat we're ranging. So for me, I'm gonna keep looking for an entry somewhere around 2032, or a short if we can get it somewhere around 2000 and what is it, 2200. All right. So yeah, I mean basically the same setup remains. All set in the house. How's it going, my friend? Welcome. Ethereum to 1200. Let's get it. Oh my god. Are you serious? Are you looking at that bad for Ethereum? I mean, I do have some low targets. It's that low? 1200? 1200? Ooh. Possible? Possible? Oh, Kaylee. I don't know. Kelly. I don't know, Kelly. Could be. I mean, could be. I don't want to call it out just now, but if we hit it, I'm totally shouting you out, my friend. All right, so let's take a look at the next one. XRP, and what was the last one? XRP and IP. Let's go for XRP. I should be having it in here. XRP, perfect. Not looking great, by the way. Not looking great. Getting closer to an area of support. We don't have the flip of the ribbon. We are in a W support. Getting closer to that bottom range. And let me just mark that box, all right? So in between these two. I'm going to lock it and I'm going to clean this up. What did I just do? It locked? Yes, it's locked. Let's clear this up. Perfect. Now let's go to the 4 hours. At 4 hours, getting to that box. Perfect. We have, all right, perfect. Much better. All right. So we have an order blocking here. We're getting closer to a swing low right there. So I think we could be looking for a possible entry for that long. We are thick on the cut on that oscillator, so we're gonna be looking for that flip of the ribbon. You know what? Actually, you know what it is, right? So I believe that we could be jumping in somewhere around here. Stop loss right there, right below it. Give us just a little bit of that wiggle room, right? Wiggle somewhere around those areas. So it's ended up being at 144.91. Looking for the flip of the ribbon. And on the flip of the ribbon, I'm going to be taking that long. All right. So I'm going to set an alert slightly above, so I have enough time to come over. And then I'm going to set another alert right down below, just in case I get stopped out. I will be thinking to jump back in a little bit below. So my next alert, 1.33. Let's get it. All right. Let's take a look at what else we have in here. We have IP, perfect. USD, what it was, USDT? Or just USD? All right, sure. IP USD. Let's go for this one because we already have it. We're already tracking this one. All right. So far, not looking great at all. Breaking through some low areas. Man. Like, there is a small chance for a reversal up. I wouldn't be betting much on this one. We are not in reversing zones, all right? Yes, we have reversed at that area. But we don't quite have... I mean, we do have a power bar zone. But, I don't know, man. This doesn't really give me that feeling. I don't see strong support. You know what? Let's bring up the cavalry here. We do have we don't have tiny candles on this oscillator. I'm gonna be looking for tiny candles somewhere around this zone to get into a long, but I rather go in lower before I start looking for a long. For a short, yes, like this. All right, only if we have that movement. So let's actually go for a short. I also don't want to push the short too much, because look at how far are we from the oscillator. We could very much just range. All right, so I'm gonna do this. So far, what's gonna be our entry point for the short? It's gonna be if we go slightly lower. All right, slightly lower, up, rejection. All right, let's go for This one right here. And my entry is gonna be right there. All right. Other than that, looking for a head switch somewhere around this zone. So let's go for an alert. A little bit higher. There it is. And finally, that's gonna be a rejection. So if you don't catch the short, don't worry about it. I'm gonna be looking more for that little bounce up, and then we can catch the next upcoming. So let's get it. Let's get it. Short-term bullish. Yes, absolutely. 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 All right. So we have taken a look at a couple of assets in here. Let me see if we have anything else in line. Seems like we don't. Let's keep it till now for now. All right. So we already have had a couple of entries. We want to take it slow. We want for these bounce to play it out. Most likely tomorrow we're going to be seeing either the drop or the bounce. So we should be tomorrow into a long or a short, depending on where the market moves. Remember, we already have targets at the top for the short, and we have targets at the bottom for the long. Nonetheless, keep an eye on your long on Bitcoin, all right? It might be changing very, very fast of opinion, especially on this zone. So let's go to the 15 minutes. And right now we should be almost on breaking even. So keep your eyes open for that. And I believe that we are going to get that push to the upside. So that's why we're also looking to long a couple of other assets, all right? Don't long everything out there, all right? Especially not right now, right? So remember, longing the bear market, it's a trap, it's a trap, it's a trap. So use a stop loss, manage your entry, manage your leverage, and of course, be ready to short immediately, all right? Guys, thank you so much for joining. If it's not too much to ask for, click that like button, share this with a friend, and as always, see you guys tomorrow.
You heard it here first. Bitcoin is going to zero.